It's official. Biden versus Trump. And what is shaping up to be the first presidential general election rematch in nearly 70 years. Sure, it feels like deja vu all over again, but this 2024 version is altogether different. On the Democratic side, Biden seeks re-election with a strong record to stand on and defend. A record that includes a booming economy, despite all those hair-on-fire predictions that the U.S. would slip into recession. Unemployment is just 3.9% for the last 2 years, folks. And in February, job growth was higher than expected, totaling 275,000. The Biden administration has also canceled more than $100 billion in student loan debt, providing relief for thousands of borrowers. They've made huge investments in American manufacturing and infrastructure. Those accomplishments haven't translated into strong poll numbers at this point. But the fundraising? Well, that's another story. Today, the Biden-Harris campaign announced that it raised more than $53 million in February. Not only that, but the campaign also reported that it has a record $155 million cash on hand, like cash they can spend right now. Now, let's turn our wary gaze to the twice impeached, disgraced former President Donald Trump. Since 2020, Trump's been found liable for sexual assault and fraud. Plus, he has 4 criminal indictments on 88 counts and has run up nearly $500 million in legal penalties. But one thing hasn't changed. Trump continues to push a dark, authoritarian, and violent vision for America. He continues to promote the big lie, now bolstered by his hand-picked and newly installed leadership team at the RNC, a team that notably includes his daughter-in-law, Lara Trump. The campaign arm is establishing a new so-called election integrity unit led by MAGA election denier and former Trump lawyer Christina Bobb. At a rally in Ohio yesterday, Trump started his speech by saluting the insurrectionists who were convicted for their deadly assault on the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Once again, Trump called them, quote, hostages. Then he resorted to an all-too-familiar playbook, making racist remarks about migrants, alluding to political violence, and casting doubt on our electoral process.
If I had prisons that were teeming with MS-13 and all sorts of people that they've got to take care of for the next 50 years, right? Young people, they're in jail for years, and if you call them people. I don't know if you call them people. In some cases, they're not people, in my opinion. We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. If this election isn't won, I'm not sure that you'll ever have another election in this country. Does that make sense? I don't think you're going to have another election in this country.
Shameful. I have 2 great guests to discuss all of this. Quentin Fulks, Principal Deputy Campaign Manager for the Biden campaign, and Steve Phillips, author of How We Win the Civil War and founder of Democracy in Color. But let me start with you, Quentin. Thank you very much for coming to the Sunday show. Trump's team claims that Trump's use of the word bloodbath was taken out of context. Was he?
No. This is exactly who Donald Trump is. We saw him call on his supporters to storm the Capitol 4 years ago, and he's doubling down, promoting violence this time around. And this is just right out of the playbook. Trump is weak and deeply insecure about this election, and he's only in it for himself. Our campaign has been saying this for months, and Trump is saying the quiet part out loud. And the people who are saying that his comments were taken out of context haven't said anything about all the other things that Trump has done, all the other times that he's incited political violence. And so, no, it wasn't taken out of context at all. This is who Donald Trump is, and America needs to stand up and listen to him.
Well, on that point, Trump says violent stuff like this all the time. Why did the Biden-Harris campaign feel that it was important this time to call Trump out on his bloodbath comment?
It's important to call him out all the time, but this one in particular, again, he's exciting political violence. He is trying to get people to stand up and be violent in this country, and this is not who we are in this country. President Biden and Vice President Harris got to work trying to quell this, trying to bring Americans together. Trump is dividing this country. He's failing to unite his own supporters, and it's showing. And so we're going to continue to call Trump out on his extreme positions, and especially when he's trying to excite political violence and cozying up to dictators and being exactly who he is telling America that he is.
You know, the Republican National Committee has a so-called election integrity unit that will focus on legal challenges that could resort to restriction to the ballot. How does the campaign plan to combat that?
Look, our campaign has been focused on making sure that we're doing everything we can to make sure that people across this country have the right to vote, that we're protecting it, that they're not getting misinformation about their voting. It's no surprise that Trump takes over the RNC and immediately guts their diversity outreach programs, immediately sets up an election integrity division that is with a self-proclaimed election denier and conspiracy theorist. So our campaign is going to continue to keep our head down, do the work, and make sure we're putting in the infrastructure and holding states across the country accountable to make sure people have the right to vote.
Well, let's talk about something specific about doing the work, and that's about the uncommitted votes that were cast in protest over the president's handling of the Israel-Hamas war and the devastation in Gaza. More than 100,000 in Michigan's Democratic primary voted uncommitted. Voters in Washington and Georgia also cast protest votes. And in Illinois, Palestinian and Muslim groups are pushing for a similar protest vote in their state's primaries on Tuesday. What is the campaign doing to heal that rift? It's a significant rift.
Look, we're going to continue to talk to these individuals. And what I would say about the uncommitted vote, and particularly those voting uncommitted on the issue of Israel and Gaza, is that President Biden wants the exact same thing that they do, which is long and lasting peace in the Middle East, both in Israel and Gaza. And he's continuing to put in the work to try to get to that point. And a lot of this work is done behind the scenes. It's not up front. And while Trump is on the other side inciting political violence, President Biden is trying to unite America and also solve this issue. And so we understand that it is a deeply personal issue for a lot of people. The president is going to continue to do outreach to this community. Our campaign is going to continue to do outreach to these voters to make sure that they know that they have a place in this campaign.
Well, speaking of outreach, White House officials met with Arab, Muslim, and Palestinian leaders in Chicago, but more than 36 of those leaders refused to attend the meeting because of the war. Does the president himself plan to meet with these leaders?
President Biden is willing to sit down with anybody that's willing to express their concerns. He understands this issue and he's working to resolve it. And that's the difference between him and Donald Trump when it comes to this. President Biden wants lasting peace in the region. Donald Trump doesn't even support a two-state solution. Donald Trump is calling for a Muslim ban, and Donald Trump doesn't have the tact nor the skill or political ability with leaders across the world to make sure that we bring this resolution to a close.
I can't have you here. We got less than a minute left, and I can't have you here without asking you about this, all this ink that's been spilled about the fact that President Biden is losing black support, losing support among black Americans. Do you believe? You guys do internal polling. Are you losing black folks?
Look, what I would say is that no, we're not, but we have to continue to make sure that we're reaching out to these voters. It's been the number one thing on our mind is that when we hit the ground running and started advertising, we went in and started talking to these communities, both black and Hispanic, Latino communities, to make sure that they knew that we don't take them for granted, that we don't see them as monolithic. There's nuanced votes within the black community and the Latino community, and we've got to put in the work and continue to draw the contrast and talk to these voters about what President Biden and Vice President Harris have done for their lives in stark contrast with what Donald Trump is doing and pointing out the fact that he simply doesn't care about them or anyone else. He's only in this election for himself, and President Biden has put in the work to make lives easier for everybody, including black Americans.
Principal Deputy Campaign Manager for the Biden-Harris campaign. Did I get the title right?
You did.
Quentin Fulks,
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming to the Sunday Show.
I appreciate it.